we're only looking at the sails here. I'm not sure quite what to do with the barge itself yet, but it'll be a similar sort of idea. It's got to be a silhouette anyway. Now, we're not going to have a lot of detail in it. And you see how I'm doing it. I'm just using the pencil round and round and round, pushing the colour in, going over it, and when I've finished it, it's going to be quite solid, the colour. And we know that when we put a colour shaper on that in a minute or two, it's going to be. Now I've left all of the dust on there. I haven't blown any of that dust away. Okay, so that means that we can do a little trick with the colour shaper, which should give us a really smooth finish, which it does. Use the pointed one simply because it's softer, for one thing. It will smooth in nicely, and also we will be able to get the detail in. I had to blow the dust away then to. Right, now that's not dark enough, so we've got to go darker. The only colour to go on top of that really would be the black. Now, I did say I was going to use 225, didn't I? And I am, but I don't want to use it yet. We've really got to get this dark, really dark, before we start. Now, if I go halfway, you'll see that that is really pretty stunning against that sky background behind it. Same thing really, we need to make it dark and solid, not pushing hard. I'm just concentrating really more on the getting the shape, but you can see how much darker it is when you. That's great. That is terrific. Now, once again, use the old colour shaper just to make use of the dust that's there, blend it in. Very tempting to blow that dust away when I don't really want to at this stage. I do now. Now, you see, one of the problems we've got when you don't blow the dust away, you can overrun there, like that. So when you do that, it's probably a good idea when you do that to bring back the colour. Now, you've got to think of what colour you use there. I use the brown. This is the only problem, you see, you've got to come back in with there. I think probably what I use, let's see if we can get away with the grey. Sharper grey would have been better, but there you are. No, that's going to work alright, I think. See, bring the grey down there. And that can only be faded into the cloud. That's alright, good. Down the bottom, maybe a little orange. Whatever colour is adjacent to just a bit of blue there as well. Might as well spend a bit of time on it. Yeah, that looks nice. So we've got a nice crisp line going down now. If you really wanted to be fussy, you could also bring in, go around the other edge of that, you know, with the, what about the grey again, I think. It just picks up or smooths in some of the colour. Anyway, you don't have to be that fussy. Right, that's basically it. Now what I'm going to do now, just put a little bit of black in. I'm going to bring, now that we haven't used it yet, the 225. Now the 225 really just puts a little bit of colour in it. The reason I didn't put this in before is because it was quite hard and that would have crushed the paper. And that's it really, folks, all you need to do. Put a little bit of colour in there. It's just a token really more than anything else, but it just colours it. I think that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Just wondering whether I can make that dust cloud just a little bit. Oof. little bit lighter there. You get the contrast better then between the cloud and the boot. Great. So I'm going to do all of these in the same way. Well, that's all the sails in. Now, you see that line there? Let me show you how I put it in. It's a bit, I put another one in here as well, but to show you how dodgy that is. I'm using a small rule, and I'm trying to not to let it touch the paper if I can. And what I'll do is when I put a line down there, now it's very sharp, my 181, and I want to just very, very lightly put it in. You see? Like that. That's all I need. Don't need much. Okay, so that's that. I think there's another line here, but I think I can probably manage this one. It comes across here, from here. Yeah, I put that in freehand. You don't want too many. At this distance away, you're not going to see too many, only the obvious ones. Now what I've decided to do here is to use the 181 again. I want to just leave just a little spot of light there. Yeah, that's a bit risky, but nonetheless it works. Now the boat that comes around here, and then so that's going to be filled in. I'm going to fill this in fairly lightly because I'm going to put other colours into there, like that. And it's the same here. We've got things that are happening on the deck. And we'll have a little bit of fill up there. This is going to be darker, this bit here, and keep that fairly light because we can be surprised how much detail we can get in this, or suggested detail, should I say. Now, as you say, it's pretty light, you see there. Another break, and then we'll have maybe suggestion of some little people in here. Now we can't put them in because that's too small, but we just suggest something anyway going in there. And then the back of the boat there, and again fairly light. Now I say fairly light because that also needs to be fairly light too, so we'll make that just a touch lighter. Just vary your pressure. But here, folks, is where we want it to be darker. And here we can afford to be just a little bit more forceful with our 181. 181 is a good colour. This is why I chose it for this purpose, because we can put colours of black on top of it, which I will do because it needs to be very dark. Now, here we have the slightly wavy line because it's going through the water. Okay, and a bit darker there. You see how much lighter that is above now. And once again, you don't want to make this obvious, but you've got also to make it, again, just to look as though there's a wave. Now when you get to there, that's where the wash is there. Let's just put a little more white in there. We'll have to do something about that when we get to the water, but there's the little wash there, and that will be coming down like that. And this is dark, so a little more pressure. Now in a minute I'm going to rub that in, and I was tempted to make it the same colour as the sails, but I've decided against that. There you go. Now, same thing applies here. We can, as we did to the sail, we can line it up just a little bit. First of all, on the light part of the boat, which is the top, and then on the bottom. Not a lot of room, I know. But you can see the difference. Now in here we can put things in. I suggest you probably think of maybe a little bit of ochre, maybe, but a little bit of ochre in there. It doesn't matter really what colour you use, as long as you put something in it. And I think maybe I fancy just a little bit of blue here. We use blue in the sky, just a little bit on the back section of the boat, like that. And why not have a little bit of blue in here too? You see how you can make things up, and maybe just a touch of the 225, which we've used in the sail. Put a little bit of that in as well, maybe a couple of little people. Don't even think that you're going to put detail in, you can't. But it looks attractive. Now, back to the 181. Now the 181, I'll put it's wrong colour. I'm going to put black in there now. That will give us something, just a little, maybe just a touch there. We have the boat is keeling over ever so slightly because of the way it's laying in the water. Now you can now see the difference between the two. Push my luck, I think, a little bit here to try and get a little bit of dark. No, I don't know, no, that's worked. A little bit of black in there as well, just to suggest something's going on the boat. There you go. I think that's quite nice. As I say, we've got a lot of work to do. Certainly we've got a lot of work in here, so let's just put just a little, now we've got that dark in, let's just put a little bit of blue in here. And a little bit of the 182 in here. And then that's going to have to be darkened a little bit, so we'll use our colour shaper. We can't have it light white, not there anyway. We can start off with it white, but we've really got to subdue it. And the area back here will have, it's going along, but it will have the opposite of the light on the other side. There will be shadow there. See how that works? We can also put, now we use the 181. You've got to play with these things. You're never going to be handed on a plate. So you've got to. This is 181 now. A little bit of black in there now to give us. And I think I'm going to leave that at the moment. Anyway, I might come back to it. But at the moment I'm quite happy. I've got to really do something about that. That's not quite, I don't know, that's not bad. The problem you've got, you see, is you've got so little detail there. Very small detail. But I quite like the blue on the back. You've got to give it an impression. Now this can be now faded a little bit into the, I could use my ivory colour shaper for that. A little stronger, that's fine. And we can always put just a little spot or two of white back in again, just here and there. Like that. Okay, I think that's all I can do at the moment for that, but it gives a nice impression of something going on in there anyway. We'll just have a little bit of tidying up job. And a little bit of grey in there too. I've lost my grey, there it is. happy with that. It looks good, and when you look at that from a little way away, it's very, very close at the moment, so come away from it and it'll look much, much better. Okay, we're looking for the next one now, the big one. Now, that's what that looks like. Now we're a little bit further away, and I think you'll agree that looks pretty stunning.